Thank you. I now recognize Mr. Babin for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Administrator, thank you for showing up and talking to us and answering questions. The EPA has proposed multiple rules for regulating greenhouse gas, GHG, emissions from the power sector, which I'll refer to collectively as the proposed 111 rule. This rule aims to cut the power sector's greenhouse gas pollution 80% by 2030. But in reality, according to some, stated by utility providers themselves, this rule will only serve to cost hundreds of billions of dollars, significantly raise customers' power bills, and require a rapid transition away from reliable American-produced natural gas without a realistic plan to fully replace that generation. But what I really want to focus on, Mr. Administrator, is my feeling that this rule is based on politics rather than science. In fact, one article quoted 6 people who said the White House sent the EPA's original proposal back to your agency and requested that it add more stringent requirements. So, several questions. Did the EPA's original proposal include regulations on existing gas plants only? Yes or no?
So I think what we've done is we've had a back and forth and interaction with experts in the White House on the construct of that rule. I think collectively we agreed that the proposed rule should include existing resources or existing production.
Right, but it seems to have devolved away from just existing. Did the White House ask your agency to change the proposal to include existing gas plants in addition to the future plants?
I think we had a robust conversation internally at the EPA and the White House. So the rule that came out of EPA is a rule that is really grounded in our technological rigor and sound science. And I think we're proud of the rule that we proposed, and we're taking comment on that.
I understand, but things, what's happened since the rule was proposed is different. Did the White House request that the proposal require coal plants to curb emissions 90% by 2035 or to retire? Yes or no?
Listen, our rule is a reflection of EPA's staff analysis.
Okay.
We've had conversations with the White House, but I just want to really sort of push back on the premise of that question because it sends a signal that the White House is dictating the rules that EPA proposed.
It does send that signal, and that's why I'm asking these questions.
That's just not the case.
Yes, sir. Broadly speaking, please confirm or deny that the White House did have some level of input on the proposed 111 rule.
Oh, absolutely. We have conversations with the White House on all of our rules.
Thank you. How many staff scientists are employed by the White House Office of Climate Policy? You know?
You know, that question had to be directed to the White House. I'm not sure.
Okay. How many scientists does the EPA employ?
I can get you that answer. I'm not quite sure how many exact scientists. I want to be exact.
Do you believe that EPA employees who are scientists are some of the best minds in their field and knowledgeable in the most up-to-date science?
Listen, I absolutely agree with that.
All right, yes, sir. You can probably see where I'm going with this. Can you explain why EPA scientists are being overruled by political appointees? And even if that's not the case, or you say so, don't you think that the very fact that political appointees get to set the targets and then the scientists have to crunch the numbers to make it happen and make it get there, that would make for a skeptical public of this proposed rule? And wouldn't you agree that the significant public distrust in the EPA is a massive problem to that agenda?
Well, I'd have to answer that question as a top political appointee and say that I listen to my scientists, and I think my scientists would corroborate that. And so that rule reflects what I think is really hard technical rigor. But let me just say, I've met in the past 2 to 3 weeks with industry CEOs on a lot of these issues, and we're receiving a lot of feedback. I think that the final rule will reflect the thinking of our scientists plus industry scientists and how we land this final rule.
Well, thank you very much. It looks like, well, I've still got a little bit more time. You think these 6 individuals that were I believe came out of the EPA that spoke with this group and gave us this information, Were those 6 individual scientists? Because I'm under the understanding that they were.
I'm not
They have
quite sure of
concerns.
who the 6 individuals are you referring to.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Understood.
I'll yield back then.